BCK is a system of special interlocking bricks for creating multi-purpose modular casing kits. For example, for electronics, microcontrollers, IoT sensors, LEDs, IT or battery applications, for private and business use, and also in education. The parts are just plugged together, holding firmly together. They can be combined as desired. The simple parts can be exchanged easily and later can be easily disassembled again. Areas of application can be your DIY projects, laboratory setups, school, college, university, model making, rapid prototyping in the industry, IT or IoT projects, and many more for temporary or permanent use. There are many advantages. The casing kits are modular, expandable, reusable, and flexible. They are suitable for different projects because the size is also variable. The individual casings can be connected in groups or converted from several small casings to larger ones. The casings are robust and can withstand a lot, but are still easy to disassemble because they are simply plugged together. They can be disassembled with your fingers or with a simple plastic tool. If something breaks or something changes in your project, you can simply use a different or new part and be prepared for the future. That is BCK, Modular Casing Solutions. Hi, I'm Jürgen. I'm the creator of BCK and I wanted to introduce myself and my modular casing kit. I'm a passionate inventor and usually I put my ideas into practice. That is one of my passions. For example, I developed, constructed and built this electric car here myself and then drove it across Germany and Switzerland with a few friends. It was a really eventful time and we learned a lot and had a lot of fun. I'm interested in various fields and have therefore studied automotive engineering, computer science and business administration. Currently, I'm doing my PhD in medical data science. In many different large and small projects, DIY tinkerings, temporary installations and even long-term projects, I have repeatedly had the problem of not being able to find a suitable casing for my prototypes. Be it for the electric car, in my server rack, or simply in the lab during an experiment. In the end, this always leads to a mess of cables, sensors, and improvised test setups in order to accommodate my electrics, electronics, IoT sensors, microcontrollers, computers, or batteries in a practically, quickly, and safely way. At some point, I didn't want to reinvent the wheel every time and to construct a new casing for every project. That's why I developed BCK. BCK stands for Best Casing Kit. The kit consists of many different simple parts that can be put together, which you can use to build the right casing quickly and easily. And if a part is missing or doesn't fit the project or is simply broke due to frequent use, the right one or the new one can be replaced easily. Several individual and existing cases can also be combined into groups or expanded with add-ons to adapt them for the desired purpose. You can support me here and now. Maybe you will watch this video for a few more minutes. I will show you the BCK system in more detail. The first casing kits, the backer boards, super practical extensions, how the project is planned, and also a look into the future. So please stay tuned. The BCK system basically consists of simple and robust plastic parts that can be put together to build different cases. In addition to very small cases and very large cases, these blocks here have proven to be useful. As a unit, they can contain a Raspberry Pi, electronic circuit boards, batteries, LEDs, or a cable distributor, to name just a few examples of my ideas. You can quickly and easily build robust cases in different sizes to suit your project. The parts are simply put together, but they hold together firmly and are ready for daily use. With a little force, the parts can be disassembled again with your fingers. In some cases, a simple plastic tool is useful to protect your fingernails. Don't worry, we will include one of these plastic tools for each backer. This is what a finished assembled case looks like. The various side panels and cover parts can be easily replaced and are modular. So if you need a different cover instead of a fan, you can simply replace it. Not only the individual parts are modular, but the finished housing blocks are also modular. Several smaller blocks can be joined together to form groups of larger units. If something breaks or your requirements change, you can simply adapt your case. Replacing individual parts is of course cheaper than buying the entire case. If the cases are used again and again for different projects, also less waste is produced. This is especially important considering that technical products often have a relatively short life cycle of only a few years. The system is patent pending and will be continually expanded in the future to make it suitable for more and more projects over time. During the design, care was taken to ensure that the parts can be manufactured quite easily. There are, of course, also default housings without surface openings, which you can then adapt to your own requirements. The housings are only plugged together, but are nevertheless very robust in their design. Not intended to be copied, but I weigh about 100 kilograms and I'm 193 centimeters tall, so this small housing can withstand that. The plug-in system still works and the parts can simply be removed again, ready for the next mission. As a first step, I've created several casing kits in this medium size for this Kickstarter campaign, each of which serves a specific purpose and is packed by me. The kits all consist of many different simple components or basic parts, which can, of course, be used later for other projects.
First of all, there is of course a basic casing, which has no openings in the outer surface. This makes it possible to customize the casing according to your requirements. The boxes have a size of approximately 11 by 9 by 5 centimeters. The exact dimensions and further details can be found on my homepage. The second case is suitable for a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino Uno R3. The Raspberry Pi Type B fits in here, in all versions released so far, V1 to V5. With the Pi 5, there is also room for the default fan, for example. On the front, you will find the familiar connections for USB and Ethernet. On the back, there is plenty of space to access the SD card. There is also an XT60 connection here, which can be used for power supply. The XT60 format is pretty well known in the field of rechargeable battery packs and remote-controlled toy cars and planes, so I think it is a very good choice for this application too. A little further up is the slide-out for a circuit board with which you can create small circuits and experiments. The bottom has a few openings for ventilation, a holder for the Pi, and holes for wall mounting. There are 3 side panels included, 2 with ventilation and 1 alternative as access for the Pi's other connections. I named the set RPI Lab. It has served me well several times when I was conducting a small experiment in the lab and wanted to quickly test a small circuit or IoT sensor. The third casing kit is suitable for building a battery pack. It can accommodate 8 batteries in the 18650 format. You may be familiar with this format from your vaporizer, a bicycle or scooter battery, or even from Tesla, which is a fairly common cell format. The holders supplied leave enough space to solder or weld your batteries and accommodate additional measuring cables for temperature sensors or the BMS. Speaking of BMS, there is some space on one side for a battery management system and the other cables. 2 XT60 connectors are also placed on the front side to charge or discharge the battery pack. You can probably already think of a first use case where you could use a housing like this, right? But there is more. The fourth casing kit is a junction box to untangle the constant cable chaos that inevitably arises when you want to quickly try something out in the lab. This means you can tap the power from your low-voltage direct current source, e.g. a laboratory power supply, and then distribute it to your other housings. The housing kit has 5 XT60 sockets on one side, 2 XT60 sockets, and 2 banana safety sockets with contact protection on the other side, e.g. for the power source, as you know them from the lab. Inside the case, there is a hidden circuit board on which you can place circuits, sensors, or holders for fuses, for example, and there will be enough space for the internal cable routing too.
Of course, the casing kits are cool and useful on its own. But speaking of modularity, if you bring it to the next level, the casing kits make even more sense and create even more usefulness if you can modify and individualize them. The individual cases are nice, but if the cases are already modular, then it also makes sense to see the cases themselves as modules. to connect them together or to further individualize them. That's what the add-ons are for. Add-ons are small upgrades for the kits just presented. They are often just a few small parts, but you can use them for different projects in different cases. Perhaps have a new use case for your existing case and immediately have a noticeable added value. I give you a quick overview of the add-ons.
Box connector, surface. With the box connector surface, two individual housings can be connected lengthwise or crosswise on the surface, leaving two individual boxes. Box connector vertical. With the box connector vertical, two individual housings can be stacked firmly together, creating a box with a larger internal volume. Extension. With the extension, two boxes can be converted into one longer box. The outer parts are seamlessly connected. Stacking corners. The outsides of the normal boxes are quite smooth and can only be stacked to a limited extent. With the stacking corners, the boxes have recesses and noses, so that the boxes can be stacked loosely and do not slip so easily. Acrylic glass front, big. With the acrylic glass front big, a large side becomes a pane, e.g. for LED applications, or if you want to be able to admire the interior. Acrylic glass front small. With the acrylic glass front small, a small side becomes a pane, also suitable for LED applications or optical purposes or showcases. Piggy bank add-on. Okay, for the nerds among us, may be really cool in combination with the acrylic glass pane. A small add-on that turns a box into a piggy bank and makes saving for the next project a little easier. Have any change? Heavy-duty supports. The cases can already withstand a lot, but with the heavy-duty supports, the corners of the case can be stiffened even further. You lose a little space inside, but you have significantly more stability in the box. External wall mount. With the external wall mount, each casing can be equipped with a hook and hung vertically or horizontally. The mount is attached to the outside, so you don't have to disassemble the entire casing beforehand. Just replace individual surface parts quick and easy. Rack brackets for 10-inch and 19-inch. With the rack brackets and the front panels, 4 casings can be combined to form a 10-inch rack, or 8 housings can be combined to form a 19-inch rack. This way you can, for example, set up a small Raspberry Pi cluster in your home lab or safely store other projects in the rack. The racks have a height of 2 units.
Okay, now I have probably confused everyone with parts, kits, add-ons, etc. But don't worry, there will be only a few rewards. I've put together ready-made sets for you, which then represent the backers' rewards. These always contain one or more casing kits and a few add-ons. Please take a look at the individual rewards. Maybe some of them will appeal to you. I would be very happy.
It will look something like this. A block with the 4 housings shown above, which are plugged together with the surface connectors, and then form this nice block here. You have to build the housings yourself. The connectors, empty circuit boards, screws, and small parts are of course included. The Raspberry Pi is not included. You have to have that yourself. The set with 4 RPI lab casing kits and the 10-inch rack brackets looks like this when assembled. As I said, the microcontrollers are not included, of course. The set with 8 RPI lab casing kits and the 19-inch rack brackets looks like this when assembled. So you have a better idea of what you get for your support. You can use all of the small cases individually or combine them with the add-ons in almost any way you like, or just build a rack like this here and start your next project straight away. Have fun browsing through the individual reward sets.
At this point, I wanted to briefly outline the course of the project, what will happen, in what order, and roughly how long it will take if we reach the project goal. This includes a few important milestones that need to be completed so that you can hold your rewards in your hands. Communication with the backers and other guests on the journey to the goal will take place here on Kickstarter, of course, and on a small number of social media channels, probably YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and of course on my homepage, bck.lol. The parts and sets are designed to be easily manufactured on a 3D printer or for larger quantities or standard parts on a small plastic injection molding machine. Once the funding goal has been reached and the money from Kickstarter has been received, I will first buy a few 3D printers, filament and accessories and set up a small print garden. This should be enough to start with and will give me enough flexibility for further product innovations and rapid prototyping. Until the printers are delivered and set up, I will continue to test the prototypes, optimize the settings, and prepare my quality controls for the finished products. On the subject of colors, in order to keep logistical challenges in production and shipping as small as possible, I would like to limit the number of possible colors for the kits. If that's okay with you, I would send each bagger a mix of random colors for the kits and the add-ons. That would be at no extra cost. If you want everything in a certain color, please don't forget to put the single color add-on in your shopping chart. I will determine 3 suitable colors from which you can then choose one. The sets will also be available in different color schemes. I'm not a designer, but the colors are somewhat coordinated. The color schemes consists of 3 colors. So if you have a little more demand for the look, please don't forget to put the color scheme add-on in your shopping chart. I will keep you updated on the colors and then write to you. Then you can make a selection. On the subject of production time and how long it takes until the sets are produced, it obviously depends on the number of backers and how long it takes to set up the print garden. Once it reaches a certain size, it will certainly take 30 to 40 days to print all the sets and carry out the quality controls. Then there is the picking of the individual orders and shipping worldwide. Please be patient here. You can find all the details about the milestones in the description of the Kickstarter project. On the subject of documentation or assembly instruction, there are no plans for traditional paper-based assembly instruction for the time being. There will be a video tutorial for each kit that will show the assembly step by step. In my opinion, that is the best way to start. In addition, each part has a part number embossed on it, which you can use to identify the part when assembling them, or they are in a large box. These part numbers can be entered as quick links on the homepage. For example, with a part number 6152, you can enter the URL bck.law6152 and you will immediately land on the right page of the article database, where you can find all the data sheets, images, part lists, alternative or similar parts, and additional information. Of course, there's also a good search function on my homepage. At the end of the video, you will find a QR code displayed, then you can look at a few examples of the homepage already. In the future, the portfolio of parts should grow steadily. I already have many more ideas of possible applications in the pipeline, but I'm especially excited about your ideas. Other sizes, other variants of the parts, other materials and colors, and of course practical add-ons are conceivable. The modular plug-in system means that new areas of application can be covered quickly and suitable housings can be produced ready for the market in almost no time. If it has to be done very quickly, even within a few days. Although it is outside of the scope of this Kickstarter campaign, it is conceivable that print files or private and commercial licenses could be issued in the future. Initially, however, it is quite challenging to produce the parts and especially the fit of the plug connections in high quality, to have the right material and to dry it beforehand. I would like to optimize the details and tuning first before I think about possibly releasing the files, though that the parts can also be manufactured on your side. Perhaps there are collaborations with educational institutions, individuals or companies to gain initial experience for external productions. For me, the first priority is the positive customer experience with the plugin system, the ever-expanding kit, and a high-quality product. In the end, you cannot plan all of this anyway, so we will just have to wait and see what happens. That's it from me for now. You will find news and updates here and soon also on the social media channels mentioned above. You can find links to social media on my homepage, bck.lol. If you can imagine accompanying me on my journey and supporting me, I would be very grateful. If you have any questions, please just ask here. I will try to find an answer as quickly as possible. I will do my very best. Thank you for your attention. I'm Jürgen from BCK. Best wishes, see you soon. Servus and bye for now.